So hello Marco, can you please briefly introduce yourself and where you're studying right now?
Yeah, my name's Marco. I'm studying at WU. I study WiSo, and I started this semester.
And a lot of people who come here from abroad that and have like the high school level certificate that's not equal to the Austrian one, they usually have to go to preparatory courses before they can start their studies at the university. And can you please tell more about it? Like how does the whole procedure look?
That's always going to be the case if you're an outside student and you're coming to Austria and you want to study in WU. If you study WiSo, you're going to have to do Math and German. At VWU, das ist die Vorbereitungskurs, the preparatory course before you come into the WU.
Yeah.
And the way it works is that you have to sign yourself up in the WU. You have to put all of your documents and everything. You need to A2 level for German.
Yeah.
That's the first requirement.
Yeah, at least.
At least it has to be A2 before you sign up. They're going to say yes, and then you're going to come in. You sign yourself up again here at the WU, and then you sign yourself up with VWU. That is the preparation course, and it's usually going to be German and Math. For some people, it's going to be English as well. That depends on your English level, but normally it's going to be German and Math.
Okay, so and basically you have to go through the same selection procedure everybody has to go. So you have to go to the web page, you have to basically fill out your data, and you also have to take the entrance exam. And
you have to take the entrance exam, but first, before taking the entrance exam, you have to do the two exams for German and for Math, which are the preparation subjects, so to say. After you pass those exams that are, by the way, much more difficult than the entrance exam in the WU. Like the entrance exam for WiSo, it's very easy. Like you're going to make it. If you already did the Math thing and the German thing, you can be 100% sure that you're going to make that as well. That you don't even have to study for it because it's like with open resources. You can use the internet, you can do everything. It's not like the BBE course that you have to actually prepare yourself, and there's like a good chance that you're not going to make it if you don't prepare yourself.
yeah.
That's not the case with WiSo.
There, if you put in at least some kind of effort, like a shout out to the video with Amadeus.
Amadeus, what's up?
Yeah, that was like the last video. It's okay to pass it. So like because I always thought that when you register for WiSo, the social sciences bachelor at WU, that's taught in German, that you first have to go through the entrance exam, and then if you pass the entrance exam for WiSo, then they redirect you to VWU course.
No, it's the other. It's actually the other way around. They redirect you first to VWU, and once you do Math and the German course, like you pass the exams, you can do the exam because it could take you a year, it could take you a year and a half, it could take you 6 months. So it doesn't make any sense that you sign up for the WU if you don't even have like the requirements.
Yeah.
So it's the other way around. So I guess it'd be a good idea if I talk about like why I recommend to pass those exams. If that's okay.
How do those exams look like? How is it difficult for you or not?
Yeah, so it's in another building. It's a VWU, and it's in another building. It's not in the university per se. It's another place, and you're gonna find a lot of everybody's gonna be international, of course, because they're doing the same. And I think the Math course, it's difficult. It's a little bit more difficult than the German one. But you gotta prepare for both. And I recommend to take a private course. That's gonna be the easiest way because if you take a course that they know exactly how it is, that they prepare you exactly for the course, for the Math course, you could do that in one semester or in a couple months. In 2 months, you can do either the German and the Math one. That depends on your German level as well.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend that you study and that you take the course, because in my case, I didn't take the course. And it took me a lot more because I had to do the 2 courses of Math. That was like, so I took an extra year for that. And for German, I did it a little bit like faster. But for the Math course, it's pretty convenient that you do the course, that you take a private course as well.
I've also taken a look at VWU like Math curriculum and like what you showed me, but also one of my students showed me, like she's like in VWU courses, and it's a lot actually. It's more difficult than what you're expected to know, sometimes even at university. Like when you...
It's way more deeper than what you need at the uni.
Yeah,
because
it's too much.
That's equivalent to the Matura.
Yeah.
And in the Matura, you can do, I mean, even if you have bad Matura is like the high school exam that you do at the end in Austria. like it's the Abi in Germany, that's the equivalent in Austria.
Yeah.
Abitur, the Matura. Even if you don't have a good one, you can come into the WU, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if for us, like if you're gonna do the math course, you have to pass it. So you have to know the themes, and there's a lot of stuff that you probably didn't even take at your uni or in your home country.
Yeah.
Because you have to take probability, you have to do integrals, derivation, you have to do like a graphic from integrals as well. Trigonometry. It's always the same examples. That's why I tell you that it's better. You're gonna have like a course. You go to class and everything, and every week you're gonna have like a different subject with different examples and everything. That's pretty useful. But if you're gonna do it fast, and I recommend you do it fast, you take a private course and they prepare you exactly for what you need.
Yeah. And you can also, I think, for VWU, the minimum amount, like the minimum time you can study is 1 semester, right? And the maximum is, if I'm not mistaken, 4 semesters.
4 semesters, like 2 years, is the maximum.
2 years.
But you can, there are like tests, and you sign up for the tests, and there are tests like every 2 months.
Oh, so you can potentially
do it right away, technically, if you already know it, but you're probably not going to know everything. Yeah, I don't see it happening. Like at least with math, no. With German, yes. I mean, if you have a C1 in German.
But if you have a C1, you don't have to take it.
I think you don't have to take it, but I'm not entirely sure. But even if you don't immediately get a pass, if you have the C1, you're gonna pass the exam at the VWU anyways, because you already have the skills. So the Prüfung, the exam for in German, it's a little bit more difficult than the Goethe, that the B2 gets Goethe.
Oh.
It's like between B2 and C1. Yeah.
Okay. So then, basically, how was your, like, because you came with A2 level, right? Here.
I came with A2 level,
how
but
was it for you?
like it's a grind. You have to study, because I have my A2, but I barely had it. I wasn't comfortable speaking in German. Like I didn't have a very good German. But if you start hanging out with people that are also learning German, it's gonna be obviously better. And you take the courses normally in the uni, or you can prepare yourself for the exams. But if you're gonna study in German in WiSo, it's highly recommended that you practice your German often. That you read a lot of German. You have to speak it and read it. It's very important to read. So if you don't like to read normally, you have to do it. Because once you read a book in German, like a book for European Rechts, also European law, Europäisches Recht, and so those books are not easy. They are difficult for German people, Austrian people that speak German. Those are technical books and are difficult. And you have to accustom yourself in reading the newspapers and stuff. So if you start with that from now, it's going to be better. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to read. You cannot skip that part. So that's very important.
Yeah, at university, when you start WiSo, because there's like so many people in the STEOP phase, in the introduction orientation phase, you will have exams, like book and exam. You've taken one STEOP WiSo exam, I think? So
I already did the VWL, that's economy. I already did that one, that's the most difficult. I did it in the Sommeruni, and I then have 2 more, which are the VWL, that's business, and I have the European law. That's going to be at the end of the month as well.
And how are they for you? Are they like difficult to study for? What was your experience?
So VWL was more or less easy. Like no, you do have to study, but it's not crazy difficult. Like you can do it. Like if you know, it's not a lot of math, it's way more theory. So you just have to read it and do the stuff. But as I said, if you're still not at that level, if you're just gonna come in and do it, I do recommend that you focus on your German, because that's gonna be pretty like. So the earlier you begin, like the sooner you're gonna be good, and you're gonna feel comfortable about it. Because with the math part, you're not gonna need everything. What you need to do is like to pass the course, to pass the exam. That's why I say just take a private course, and then you might be ready in 2 months, in 3 months. But with the German part, it's very. I do recommend that you take a little bit longer to prepare.
Yeah.
Because even if you pass the course but you don't feel ready reading in German, that's going to be a huge burden once you start actually studying. Yeah.
Did it in total? How many months it took you to go from an A2 level to a C1 level?
I don't know. I don't remember exactly. I'm gonna say like a year, probably less, but. So once you graduate from the VWU, when you do the thing, you're between B2 and C1.
Yeah.
So not exactly C1, but between the two. But you're gonna have to have a decent German level, yeah.
Okay, so like 1 year, so 2 semesters basically.
2 semesters. There are people that do it in less time. There are people that can speak like very good German, but they ask you for specific ways of writing and not even the grammar. So not only the grammar, because you have to do the grammar properly, and that's part of the uni as well. But you also need to write an introduction, like a coherent.
So my voice could happen.
Now I'm going to correct like my thingy to look better, because I already see how I look. I always like to like this.
Yeah, no.
And like that.
Yeah, like a straight posture.
Straight posture. I was like.
Yeah, I also have this. I also like make myself.
Oh, the elbows has to be like always, right?
Yeah, like
that projects like confidence and stuff.
Yeah, we're so confident.
Did you have a class about that in the room? I don't know why, bro. It's so important. It's crucial. It's business, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You have to have a good handshake, you know. And so my worst nightmare happened, and the video cut off. So we're coming back to what we were saying, and we ended that we were discussing that they want you to, like, for example, for German and math, for German, you would need to do, like you need to write in German specific, like in an academic way, like in a specific way that you might not be used to if you're just like learning it for normal casual speaking purposes. And also for math, you were saying that some students, when they already know way how to solve a problem, and they are taught us like a certain solution, like way, like step by step. Sometimes the professors at VWU, they would ask you to solve a problem in the way they teach it. Like there's like 1 or 2 ways that they would allow you to solve the problem in.
Right.
And if you don't use those ways that they ask you to use, you would not get full marks for that question. And now I just want to kind of recap the registration process, because for some students it seems a bit overwhelming. And basically, Marco was telling me that the visa process is much more cumbersome and much more painful than just the registration process. Oh, sorry. And then, for example, did you have troubles with it, with the WU process and so on? And like, how do you become part of WU? Like, at which point do you become part of WU?
So, a thing that I forgot that I think it's important is that when you sign up for the WU, when you come in, after you come in here to the WU, they give you a card. And that's like, as an analytical student, that means that you're like a special student, so to say, but you do indeed have a card and you're part of the WU. That means that you can book a room in the library to study and everything. You can come in.
You can borrow books.
You can borrow books as well in the library, because you're actually part of the WU, but you're like a special student. And before you're actually a normal student and you can start with your studies, you have to do the 2 or the 3 exams for the admission process, the preparation courses. So after you do that, you have to take the admission test in the WU, and then you're normal part of the uni. But before that, you're still part of the university.
Yeah.
In a technical way, and you still have your card, your admission thingy.
You can go to Mensa, you can go to the student canteen, and you can get more or less cheap meals.
More or less cheap meals. Yeah, that's like a controversial thing right now, because they have like a thingy.
With the meal of the day being a bit too expensive.
Yeah, they made it more expensive, but yeah, that's another subject.
Yeah, that's another
story. Yeah.
Yeah, but the main advantage is that like when you come to VWU, you can come to the library without any problem, because some people, if they're not from uni, they have to pay for a membership card that allows them to enter the library.
Right.
And it's like one of the best buildings here. It's like very like.
Yeah,
so
the library.
For study.
Exactly, the library is beautiful. You can check it out in their other videos. She probably has a lot of videos of the library, because that's where you go. Yeah,
that's where you go as a student. And also, like we were also talking about, because it was coming towards the end of the video, what would be your kind of main, like, because you kind of came here like around 2 years ago to start your study process here. What would be the main advice you would give yourself back in the day when you were first starting it out?
Like, just in general, prepare yourself very well. Like, don't wait till it's only 1 month left to get all of your papers to sign yourself up. And for the academic part, if you have to do VWU, then that's what you're talking about, so you're definitely going to have to do that. It's basically just prepare yourself for the German part. Like, read a lot, try to listen to a lot of music, watch YouTube videos as much as possible. It's going to be very, very useful, necessary, actually. And for the math part, just do it as well, but just hire a private tutor that prepares you for the test, for the exact process of the test. Because it's always the same points. First, probability, it's 2 parts, but it's always the same way. It's just always the same themes. And the people that prepare yourself for the test, they know it. So just do it, just keep the normal courses from the VWU, and it's an investment because you're going to save yourself up a lot of time.
Time is money nowadays, you know.
Time is money, exactly.
In business language. And just like about the maybe socialization part of VWU, like when you go there, can you make friends there easily, or do you have friends from those courses?
I think it's easier to make friends in VWU than here in WU. Because in VWU, you go to a German class, you go to the math class, and you're with like the same people basically. There are a couple of people that are you don't meet in every course, but you're only going to do 2, maximum 3 courses with English. And you start hanging out with those people. You make sure you can be friends with them because it's like a normal school. But that's not the case in WiSo here. I understand that that's not for VDE because there's there's much less people, and they all hang out with each other. You know everybody. In WiSo there are thousands of people. There are 3,000 people or something like that.
3,000,
So you come in from another country, you're not going to know anybody. So just sign up after you pass and you actually start studying in the WU. Just make sure you go into one of these WhatsApp groups. And you can Alesuni. It's one. You just Google Alesuni. That's one group, and there are other groups for the WU itself, WhatsApp groups. And make sure you talk to privately or to a couple of persons that, and you can create a circle from Austrians as well.
The thing is, I also have like a WiSo group on Instagram that Amadeus has created. You can also write me and I can add you there as well if you're kind of
right. I mean that group too. That's very good.
That was a good idea from him, and met some people there. So make an effort to socialize, like especially like when you're new here. You have to maybe get out of your comfort zone and talk to people.
Right, just make sure you make good friendships in VWU, because there are people that are going to be in exactly your same situation that they came to Austria and they don't know anybody either. So it's easier to make friends with them, to be friends with them.
And you're working right now as well, right?
I'm working in the Albertina, that's a museum in the center of the city,
Perfect. How is it, like, you can just briefly mention, like, because you're like kind of, you've moved here like already for 2 years, and some people are just moving now and they're like so scared of all these aspects. Could you also mention that briefly, like how it was like to find a job? Because everybody asks, like almost every single DM asks me like how do I get a job as a student, or what are the possibilities?
It's going to depend on your visa, but normally you have a student visa and you have like, you normally don't have a work permission. Like the company that you're going to work for, it's going to have to ask for the permission themselves. And most companies are not going to do that. So my job in the Albertina, they actually did that, and that's why I'm working there right now.
Yeah, Albertina is like a very big museum in Vienna, in the city center. So
right.
You know, you're living the true Viennese life, you know, the cultural, classical.
I mean, exactly. I go there every day to the centrum and Stephansdom. That's every day for me.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a nice experience at any rate.
And like looking back at it all, was it all worth it? Like looking back at the first day you decided to study in Austria, maybe how did you come to the decision, and like now that you kind of have
I think
all this experience?
It's 100% worth it. It's 100% worth it. You invest your time, you prepare yourself, it's going to be worth it, and you're going to have a lot of fun. I think Vienna is a fantastic city, spectacular.
For students especially? For
students. I mean, I live like half an hour from Vienna in Korneuburg. That's a small city. That's in the other part of the river. But Austria in general, but Vienna is a fantastic city for students and for everybody. It's not that big. It's not full of people like in other European capitals that they have a lot of people. It's always crowded everywhere. That's not the case here. So it's very, very nice. You're gonna love it. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, so it's worth the struggle of getting the documents. And what Marco mentioned is that if you, by chance or by luck, know somebody here in Austria, don't be shy to ask him for help about documents, and you can call the authorities for you on your behalf and ask them in German. So it's a process. We all have to go through it. It's normal, but it takes a while. to always prepare your documents and like have like a checklist of everything you need to do. Because in Favo, I think you need to be in-person classes. You cannot just go to online classes. Or you have to do you have like some attendance. And also about WU, because you need a visa to come. Usually people need a visa to come. Do you need to attend the classes in person? What are the attendance requirements? How often do you need to go?
For WU, yes. I mean, I don't know if you don't have to attend the classes. So for the math part, all the classes are online. They're not even live. They're actually videos.
Oh.
And you download the videos and you watch them whenever you want. But you do have to come at the end of each week and do an exercise, and that gives you an extra point at the end of the day for the. And you can avoid the oral part of the test because there's a normal test and there's an oral test as well. So you can skip it if you have enough points every week.
That's very good advice.
That's very good advice.
Yeah.
But for German, you do have to come in, and I 100% recommend you to come for go to the German classes for the social part.
Yeah.
More than the class itself, it's the social thing. It's very, very important. That's how you get to know people anyway.
And do you remember how often did you need to go to the German classes? Like once a week, twice a week?
I think it was like three days a week, maybe 3 or 4, probably 3. Yeah.
And also,
or you can also have another German course besides that one. A lot of people do that, so they can private tutor, or not even private tutor. Sometimes like small groups.
Yeah.
But maybe it's they teach better or something like that. I have a call. I did one, and that was pretty good. It's very, very helpful. So yeah, it's better.
And like for you mentioned that they teach in smaller groups. For FAVU, do they have like large groups of students? Like how many students do you have?
That's
in
a good
class?
question. I think it's gonna depend on the group, but for me it was like I don't exactly remember. It's not that many people. I'm gonna say like 15 maximum.
Yeah. Okay.
Like for the math, a lot less people come.
Yeah,
because you come only if you study through the week and you want to do the exercise. So it's not. But for the German, that's a lot more people. It's not even a lot. It's like 10.
Okay.
Something like
so
that, 15, I think.
Yeah, so I think up to 20 would be reasonable.
Yeah, probably not 20.
From 10 to 20, like let's say in this range. Yeah, 15
Yeah,
maybe.
it's more 10 than 20.
Yeah, more 10 than, okay,
more
yeah.
close to 10 to 20.
Okay, so you have like a small group so you can actually get to know people.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just make sure yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've mentioned most of it. And just the one last thing, because people when they book a dorm, they're not sure which location they should choose. Do you maybe remember where more or less the Fava building, you have just one, right? And you take all your classes and exams in one building? Or?
For VWU, it's one building and you only go to that building. I think that sometimes you take the German classes in another place, maybe at the University of Vienna, but that wasn't the case for me. But I think that's also possible. But normally you only have to go to one place, and it's like more or less far from here, VWU, from the WU. But that's not a problem. Like in Vienna, location is not a problem in my opinion, because the public transport is just great. It's just amazing. So the city is pretty well connected, so that's not going to be a huge problem. It's always better if you live near a terminal, like a U-Bahn station. That's always better.
Yeah, that's the best. Because trams, they come a bit like in like larger intervals. But if you live near the train station, like we say Pratashin, Hauptbahnhof, like around those where it's also a metro station and maybe a train station, that would be the best idea.
U3, U4,
Yeah.
U3, U4, U1. Right? Yeah, if you live, that's ideal. But it's also not like if you don't, it's gonna be terrible. It's not gonna be terrible either. Like you just gotta walk a little bit more, maybe
Yeah,
or
okay,
something like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
And unless you want to mention anything, we can wrap it up. And
yeah, just follow your dreams, and it's just totally worth it. Like invest your time, prepare yourself, and if you're interested, find out more about it, and go for it.
yeah, perfect. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.